It has been almost a year since Valve, the company behind Steam, launched a Steam Deck OLED. This is an awesome upgrade over the non-OLED model of the Steam Deck, as not only they improved the screen of the Steam Deck, they also improved the battery life, the joystick, the ABXY buttons, and a lot of things inside the Steam Deck. However, Valve still lags behind in a few things in terms of the software. For example, not all the games are supported by the Proton compatibility layer of the Steam Deck. For example, in my Steam library, there is Batman Arkham Origins, and as you can see from the game info tab, it is marked as unsupported on the Steam Deck. However, I can still play this game with the help of a custom compatibility layer called as Proton GE. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how can you install this Proton GE on your Steam Deck and can play games on your Steam Deck which are currently marked as not supported. So let's get started. First of all, press the Steam button on your Steam Deck and go to the power menu. Then go to the bottom and switch to the desktop mode. Once you are in the desktop mode, you will be greeted with the KDE desktop environment. However, since I'm on Bazite OS, I have installed the GNOME desktop environment, which looks a little bit like Mac OS, but it is absolutely touch friendly and therefore works great on the Steam Deck. If you're on the KDE desktop environment, search for the Discover Store and then search for Proton Up Qt. And since I'm on the GNOME desktop environment, I'm gonna launch GNOME software and then search for the Proton Up Qt application. As you can see, Proton Up Qt is right here and I have installed it from the FlatHub store. On KDE's Discover, you can similarly install this application from the Flatpak source. Once the application is installed, simply click on the Open button. As you can see, Proton Up Qt is launched and we can see that GE-Proton 9-16 is already installed since I was using it to play Batman Arkham Origins. If you want to add a latest version or install a specific Proton GE version, you can click on the Add Version button and select the compatibility tool, and there are a lot of options such as GE-Proton, Boxtron, and so on. Since I'm going to be using GE-Proton, just select GE, and then as you can see, since I was using 9-16, there are a lot of updates available, so I'm just gonna select the latest version, which is GE-Proton 9-20, and click on the Install button. The file will now be downloaded and added to your Steam automatically, and this step might depend on your internet speed. So this is now installed and it took almost 20 seconds, and as you can see, the GE-Proton 9-16 is marked as global, whereas GE-Proton 9-20 is marked as unused. Now, what does global mean? I have set up GE-Proton 9-16 to be used on every Steam game, as to not worry about it at all if it runs in the background. And for example, if I install an unsupported game and it just automatically uses 9-16 and I don't have to choose it every time manually. Now, to set the GE-Proton 9-20 as a default version for a game, just launch Steam and select the game you want it to be played by GE-Proton 9-20. Here I'm going to go to a game, Batman Arkham Origins, Properties, go to the Compatibility tab, and as you can see, it is already checked to force the use of a specific Steam Play compatibility too. If it is not, then just check this button and this drop down menu will appear and you have to select a different Proton version from here. If the latest version does not appear automatically, for example 9-20 is not here, close Steam and simply restart. Once Steam is launched, go to the Batman Arkham Origins or any unsupported games. Go to Properties and go to the Compatibility tab. Now check this box and you may have to restart once again, but just restart and come back. and you will see that GE-Proton 9-20 will be right here. If you have selected that, close out the dialog box and you can either launch the game directly from here or go back to the gaming mode and launch it from there. If you want to set that GE-Proton 9-20 to global, that means every other game should launch with that compatibility layer. Then go to the compatibility tab in the Steam settings and then select GE-Proton 9-20 from here. As you can see, you will be asked to restart Steam, so just do that. So Steam is now launched, and let's select any other game, for example Arise a Simple Story, and go to properties, go to compatibility, and if you have specified any Proton version then it will use that only, but if you have installed a new game then it will automatically get defaulted to the Proton GE version 9-20. If you simply restart the Proton of Qt application, then you will see that GE-Proton 9-20 version is now marked as global. And if you click on the show game list button, you will see which games are using GE-Proton 9-20, which games are using GE-Proton 9-16. And you can also check on the ProtonDB page. So it is marked as direct unsupported, but on the ProtonDB site it is marked as gold. And similarly, Planet Alpha, it is also marked as unsupported, and on the ProtonDB site it is marked as gold. So Proton of Qt is a nifty tool which you can use to check on the Proton compatibility layer and play unsupported games on the Steam Deck. You can also change the version from right here if you want. For example, I just want it to be used by Proton GE 9-20, so I'll just select every game to be run by that compatibility layer. And Spiritfarer is verified for Proton stable, so I'm gonna choose Proton stable 20 for every game in my installed list. Just hit the apply button, and as you can see, GE-Proton 9-16 is now marked as unused, so I'm just gonna remove that. And you can also let it stay, but I'm just gonna remove that as it is marked as unused, and just close out the Proton of Qt application. Now to return back to the gaming mode, if you're on KDE, then there will be a desktop icon called as return to gaming mode. Since I'm on Bazzite Gnome edition, I'm just gonna select the Steam icon and go to return back to the gaming mode. It will ask me to log out, and I'll just select yes. Now let's see whether the Batman Arkham Origin game works or not with the Proton compatibility layer GE-Proton 9-20. Let's hit play. Since we have changed the Proton version, it will take some time to process the Vulkan shader once again, but just let it do that, and because it will be better and we'll have less stuttering while we play the game.
bridge now. You won't even recognize it.
I need to deal with these last two bombs before I turn my attention to Firefly.
Wait a minute, there's someone moving around down there. Possible Batman spotting, tracking, talking. Negative. Stay to your assigned patrol. If Firefly spots your target, he can set off his bombs. Roger that.
So this was all about the Proton GE compatibility layer, which can greatly improve the compatibility of non-supported games on the Steam Deck. As you can see, Batman Arkham Origins runs quite flawlessly at stable 60 FPS on my Steam Deck. Note that only 60 FPS can be shown here because my laptop's monitor has a 60 Hz refresh rate. While playing on the Steam Deck, it can play flawlessly at 90 FPS. So that was it for this video. I hope the game you want to play runs using this Proton compatibility layer, and if not, you can contact GE, which is Glorious Eggroll, on their GitHub page or on their Discord. If you want that support for the game you want to play gets added to the next version of GE-Proton 9-20.